Hey guys, it's Joel Runyon, and today I'm your reluctant fake meat correspondent. That's right, a bunch of you guys have sent me this article about Beyond Meat going bankrupt and asking if I've seen it. And so I wanted to clear up a couple misconceptions, lay some groundwork, and actually tell you guys what's actually happening in this space. Now, first things first, I'm actually not a fan of the fake meat space, but I've been getting sued by Impossible Foods for the last 4 years for our trademarks for our company. And the last year they've been suing me personally. So whether I like it or not, I've had to learn a bunch about that space. So here's what's going on with Beyond Meat. Last week they came out with their quarterly earnings and it was not looking good. Beyond Meat is public and their last few quarterly earnings have not looked good across the board. They basically come out and say this in the report that not just them, but the entire plant-based fake meat space is down about 19% year over year. And over the last 4 quarters, Beyond Meat's losing $25 to $35 million every quarter. So every 3 months, they're losing roughly $30 million. And if you're not a business person, that is usually not a good thing. So they came out with a bunch of quarterly bad news, and it's actually not just Beyond Meat, but pretty much everybody in the space is down. In fact, despite all the funding that these companies have taken on, there's almost none of them that are actually profitable. That's a crazy thing to say. But a whole bunch of them are having problems. The space is starting to consolidate. Beyond Meat's stock price is down 90% over the last few years. One of the other competitors, Meaty, got bought back into receivership, I believe. Daring was another one of these plant-based companies, and they just got bought up for an undisclosed sum by an Australian plant-based company. And you know it wasn't a great acquisition because nobody named a number. The little hack of acquisitions is if an investor tells you what to exit for, they're happy about it. If they just say it was an acquisition and they don't name a number, there's a reason for it. So all those people are having problems. Impossible Foods is also having those same problems. I think Beyond Meat says the entire sector's sales are down 19% year over year. And Grovaro, when they did a feature on us, said that Impossible Foods is down about 15% year over year. You can check that video out below, but that's what he said. And again, that's not good news. Basically what happened was the entire sector was flooded with VC money, but not really backed up by customer demand. So what you're seeing right now is all that VC money is starting to dry up. The products do have a niche for a small customer base, but the customer base required to validate these crazy valuations just does not exist. And that's why all these companies are down about 90%. So what's happening with Beyond Meat is actually really interesting. A website called The Street took a look at their financials and basically said, Beyond Meat's heading towards bankruptcy. And this is why. Beyond Meat has about $100 million worth of cash on their balance sheet, and they're losing about $30 million a quarter. So if you fast forward that, in 3 to 4 months, things are gonna get a little scary. On top of that, Beyond Meat has about $1 billion in debt that's coming due in 2027, I believe. Might be a little sooner. So you're gonna have to pay that back or refinance that. Both of those things are gonna be really difficult if you're losing $30 million a quarter. Beyond Meat also brought in a corporate restructuring individual. I think they called him the Chief Transformation Officer. Basically, he's brought in to restructure the company so they can stop losing so much money. So what happened was The Street came out with an article analyzing all these factors and said that Beyond Meat is heading towards bankruptcy. They posted that, and in the next 24 hours, Twitter went crazy. A bunch of people saw the headed towards bankruptcy headline and cut it short and basically said Beyond Meat's filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And that's technically not true. And Beyond Meat itself has come out and said that. But that didn't stop Twitter and the rest of the internet from celebrating. But that's sort of what happens when the news gets out on the internet, right? So no, Beyond Meat has not declared bankruptcy yet. But the last few quarters are not looking good. And their stock price is down significantly. They've also kind of admitted that they're going to be restructuring one way or another by bringing in this Chief Transformation Officer. And if something doesn't change quickly, they're going to be in a real tough spot in the next few quarters. And it doesn't look like the plant-based meat space is really going to rebound in a way that's going to help them out. And again, this is specifically about Beyond Meat, but this is actually happening all over the category. The fake meat space was funded with billions and billions of dollars with the promise that they were going to transform the food system and eliminate animals from agriculture. And that really hasn't panned out. Consumers are starting to notice that the products are overly processed. They don't stand up on the nutrition side. They don't taste as good, and they're more expensive. And so if you take all those things out, the USP, the reason the customer would actually want to buy those products is basically gone. And again, sure, you're going to have a small segment of the population that wants imitation style meat. But meat eaters are increasingly wanting more high quality meat. And vegetarians and vegans are often wanting clean whole food ingredients. And everybody is sort of moving away from overly processed foods. So the only companies that are actually doing well in this space tend to be companies that are actually focused on whole food nutrition and vegetables. So yeah, Beyond Meat is having a rough go of it. It's not looking good for them. It's also not looking good for any of the other players in the space. But they haven't declared bankruptcy yet. It seems like they've got a couple more quarters to go, and we'll see what happens next. Again, guys, my name is Joel Runyon, and I'm your reluctant fake meat correspondent. My company, Impossible, has been getting sued by Impossible Foods for the last 4 years. So I know way too much about this space. And at one point, it was one of the most funded verticals of all time. It's starting to look like that shine is starting to fade. All right, so this is a little bit of an abnormal video. I don't always talk about business breakdowns of other companies, but if you want to see more about them, let me know and I'll see what I can do. If you guys want to see more videos about pushing your limits and doing the impossible and get inspired to take on big challenges, whether it's running an ultra marathon or getting sued by a billion-dollar company, hit like and subscribe, and I've got a bunch more videos on the way. Again, guys, my name is Joel Runyon. Until next time, keep pushing your limits, do something impossible.